You're listening to Out Loud and Live with JC Alvarez. Quantum Leap, the popular sci-fi hit from the late 80s, is back in a primetime sequel, starring Raymond Lee as Dr. Ben Song, traveling the timelines. And Ernie Hudson plays the director of the project that has our heroes swapping in a new identity every week. Now, in its second season on NBC, the series is moving at a fast pace in a 2-hour season finale that has our heroes facing all kinds of new challenges. Congratulations on the success of Quantum Leap.
Yeah, great to meet you too, and thank you.
It's a good time.
I mean, what must it be like for you to be jumping into like one of the most beloved sci-fi franchises ever in television?
The original was so iconic, and I was a big fan of the original show.
The show that came before us and how it touched so many people's lives, and it's really neat. It's not lost on me every single day. What an honor it is to just be able to be in this role. It's this kind of feeling of like, hey, you really touched my life. Hey,
Yeah.
this show was really special. And I watched it with my dad. I watched it with my mom, and it's a show that everybody can watch, and you learn something from. And so
Right.
that we can be some sort of extension, some sort of universal extension of that is a great honor to get to do. So I love doing it.
The original was great, and
Yeah.
but also I love the fact that now being part of a team, and we get to know the team behind Ziggy and the complications that come with that. It gives another dimension too. But I really attribute a lot to Raymond Lee. I just think he's such an everyman.
Yeah.
I can't imagine anyone not being able to relate to Raymond. He's just such a wonderful spirit.
Yeah.
We're just hoping we can, just honor it.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's such a legacy, and you guys are now perpetuating this brand new legacy and kind of moving in a new direction. Yeah, this contemporary sequel, proper sequel of the original, has you sort of like in the unique position of kind of like being in a new genre every week and playing all these. What is that like? Because I mean, it's like, you get a script and like, it's a disaster movie this week. Next week it's it's a science fiction story. What's that like for you?
It's kind of the best because our all of our writers and producers are giant nerds, and we're all, like the writers are so excited to be like, hey, this is an homage to Towering Inferno, or this is an
Right.
homage to Days of Thunder, or this is an homage to The Exorcist. And this is a language that I speak and I understand. And then they go, okay, these are the songs that inspired me while I wrote this episode. So as I'm going through the script, and all those needle drops are happening on my computer, and I'm like, oh, this is incredible. And our showrunners say that it's like making a pilot every time out, a new pilot every single time out. And while it doesn't feel that way exactly, because I know the through line of the story, I get it, because tonally we have to create a world that exists for us
Right.
to jump into. And our guest stars a lot of times are the main stars of the show. So I have to find a way to fit into their story and their time period, especially if they're playing the period and the character really specific. I can't, I have to bend. So it's great. It's a great challenge every time out. It's just a great exercise in getting to utilize my entire skill set.
Yeah, and also the best part, and to your writers, you always find a way of finding some really really major heart, some
Mhm.
emotion in these stories. There's always sort of like good science fiction. There's a morality part of it that is sort of like, touchstones on social issues, or even something that just makes you feel good, which is, that's not common in TV today. It's always very bleak.
Yeah, I've kind of got to the point where I was really missing that. I miss that humanity that I saw, I think, in a lot of the, 80s movies, 90s, the heart that was there. I mean, people doing stupid stuff, but with good intentions. I mean, and now I just kind of, it depresses me when I see people doing really mean stuff. And even though it's interesting, but it's like, yeah, but you just killed a bunch of people. So I have a, so for me personally, to be a part of this, because I know that at the heart of it is trying to reach the humanity that we all share.
Right.
And that's really, really important to me.
One of my favorite moments On our last day of shooting season 2, there was this family who came on set. They were the guest of somebody on the crew, and it was their 11-year-old daughter and the mother and father, and they were telling me a story about how they were watching our Let Them Play episode, which is about a trans
Right.
girl who plays basketball, and is she allowed to play? And they had a moment where they paused the television show as a family to discuss this particular topic and to ask, what would you do in this situation? So not only are we a show that is entertaining, it's great that it can be allegorical. It's great that there can be teaching moments throughout.
Yeah.
And I love just the idea, the image of seeing a family huddled around a television or any screen, and to experience something together. And this nowadays, everybody's watching everything separately on their own devices. So that's really
Right.
neat. It's an experience that
Yeah.
we're creating, and I love hearing that.
Absolutely. It's destination television, and you do have the 2-hour season finale coming up. You know, Ben keeps jumping from body to body in more perilous situations than ever. But also, it seems as if the Quantum Leap project itself is in major danger. What can you tease about the 2-hour finale?
Yeah, there's a lot going on. I think a lot of the questions that people have been wondering will be answered, and I think it's a great ending and beginning as a lot. So I don't want to really, but I think Magic is a real critical time for him because he relies so much on the team who seem to know a lot more about technology and a lot of things. And his thing is to hold it together. And he reaches a point where he realizes, I got to do something different. I gotta rely on me. Otherwise, everything is lost. So this is real. Um, I think it's gonna say a lot about who he is. And for me, that was really, really important. You make the
Yeah.
sacrifice, but you don't leave them hanging.
Um, I can only tease what you just said, because and really that's out of respect to our fans, and I just want to honor, for all of our fans for sticking with us for 30 some odd episodes, and for all the world building and all the character building and all the storylines. They're all going to pay off, and it's going to be so satisfying, and it's also going to leave you wanting so much more, because at the end you're left with endless possibilities. So if I and I am a fan, but I know what happened. But if I was a fan of the show watching without any sort of idea, I would want to know nothing. So I'm going to leave everybody with nothing.
Absolutely. Well, that's something. Congratulations, and to you and your cast for really just making us fall in love again with Quantum Leap, and we can't wait to see how this adventure continues.
Oh, thank you so much. That really means a lot.
You've been listening to Out Loud and Live with JC Alvarez. If you like what you've heard, tune in and also check out thefansite.com for all your entertainment and pop culture news. Thanks again to both Raymond Lee and Ernie Hudson for joining me. Tune into Quantum Leap's 2-hour season finale Tuesday on NBC, starting at 9 p.m. Eastern, and streaming the next day on Peacock. Thanks for joining me, and always stay tuned.